Hey, how are you? I am Chris Robin, aka at Detroit Beastie, here with Fantasy Six Pack to talk about Sunday Night Football. The Green Bay Packers head to Seattle to battle the Seahawks. Kickoff is at 8:20 p.m. And I normally, any single game slate, I love it. We got a good game on tap. It's going to be fantastic. I said the same thing about Thursday Night Football. All of that rigmarole for a field goal game. But this one tonight, over under at 46.5 points, going to be better. Hate to promise folks stuff, especially when you're talking sports betting and DFS in fantasy football, because realistically it's not in our hands, but I'm going to half-heartedly promise you a better game tonight. NFC North versus the NFC West. Before I get into this football game, and I built two lineups that are stone cold stud locks of lineups here. I'll say it that way. Get to the website at fantasy6pack.net or find them on Twitter at fantasy6pack. And this is the end. Tonight is basically the end of week 15, although we have a double header of Monday Night Football action tomorrow, which I'll cover for you shortly. But this is the meat and potatoes of week 15. A lot of fantasy football playoffs are going right now, semifinals, championship games. Make sure you visit Fantasy Six Pack this next following week, because there's going to be more award-winning rankings, projections, IDP stuff. If that's what you're into, we're here for you. I am specifically. I wish you the best. Win some cash, and then you can transition to DFS if you're not doing that already. If your team is already toast, we'll hang here and talk about DFS, anytime touchdowns, things along those lines. But let's get back to this football game, shall we? The Packers head to Seattle to battle the Seahawks. Right now, the Packers 9-4, which is you would think that is fantastic, first overall, and they're third in the NFC North. Minnesota's above them at 11-2, and then the Detroit Lions at 12-1 against Seattle and the NFC West. And Seattle's their first in their division at 8-5, but the LA Rams are hammering behind them. They're 8-6. They won on Thursday. Arizona 6-7. And San Francisco 6-8. Take that with a grain of salt, because as at the time of this recording, it's around 3:30, 4 o'clock p.m. So a lot of these games that teams, they could have won already, or maybe they've already lost. So as it stands now, that's what I'm getting at. When we dig into this game, it's going to be great, right? When we look at some, storylines, right? Geno Smith has, mistake-free football. He hasn't thrown an interception in 2 games. Last week, Josh Jacobs was a monster, scored 3 times as the Packers lost a heartbreaker in Detroit. But overall, Seattle, they're on a 3-game winning streak. Green Bay, they've won 3 of their last 5 games. And when we look at Seattle, they're scoring around 22.7 points a game. And the Packers, over their last 5 games, scoring 26.6 points a game. So we're looking at an odd final here, 27-26, 26-23, 27. A lot of 2s in this thing. But let's talk about it. We're 3.5 minutes into the video. And I have, what do we got? About 7, 8 players mentioned. You can mix and match. I'll give you my lines at the end of the broadcast. I'll even share a photo of them, because that's easier. A lot of folks, you watch a video, you got it on your phone or your TV, and you're doing other things. You just listen and go from there. So let's start with Geno Smith, right? Against the Packers, 9th. The Packers are 9th overall against opposing quarterbacks. 26-27 completions, around, I know, a lot of completions. And you look at what Geno has done or not done. He's third in the NFL in terms of attempted passing yards a game, 26-27 completions, around 260 yards. I have him throwing for 2 touchdown passes and around 3 to 4 carries for around 15 to 20 yards. Hasn't turned the ball over in 2 starts, as I've said. And when you look at Green Bay's pass defense, they're allowing around 222 yards a game, 22nd in the NFL. Again, all those 2s. Final score is going to have a lot of 2s. Green Bay giving up 2 pass yards a game, tied for 20. It's just a strange thing. Sometimes numbers follow you that way. I'm always with 4s, always follow me around no matter where I go. When we look at the Green Bay Packers quarterback, Jordan Love, 19-20 completions, around 250 passing yards, and he'll throw for a touchdown pass as well. Chris, why not multiple touchdowns? Because this matchup looks phenomenal on paper, right? But you look at what they're going to give to Josh Jacobs. He takes, I mean, I guess that's right. You're going to take all the pressure off your quarterback. And if a running back scores 3 touchdowns more times than not, you're going to win that game. Not saying Jacobs scores 3 times this week, but we'll get to that. I have him to score twice, more specifically here momentarily. But with the Packers, some just costly turnovers. And then with Jacobs getting all that work, it's kind of taking, pieces and meals off Jordan Love's table. Probably not the best, analogy, but it paints a picture, right? So Love, 250 and a touchdown. When we look at the running backs here, Seattle's Kenneth Walker is doubtful, right? Doubtful with a big red, X there. More than likely he'll not play. So Zach Charbonnet is going to get a full allotment of targets and touches, and he's been fantastic when needed. Even when Ken Walker's in the game, Zach manages to find the end zone on reception. So that's what we're looking for tonight. 15 to 16 carries, 65 to 70 yards. He's a lock to find the end zone on the ground. 3 to 4 receptions for around 25 or 30 yards there. When we look at Charbonnet, as I was saying, last week, 22 carries, 134 yards, 2 touchdowns, caught 7 of 7 targets. That'll get you into the green when we're looking at DFS matchups. And the Green Bay Packers, they're allowing around 107 yards a game on the ground. Charbonnet is one of my favorite MVP captain spot locks tonight. And the other guy, Josh Jacobs, 20-plus carries, 90 yards. He'll find the end zone not once, but twice. I have Jacobs 2 touchdowns in this one, 1 to 2 receptions for around 20 yards as well. Josh Jacobs, he's a stud. He's already over 1,000 yards. He's got 12 total touchdowns this year, 11 on the ground, 1 in the air. We can, I don't want to say a lock to find the end zone once. Absolutely. Will he get to 2? Absolutely as well. If you want to put your money where my mouth is, lock him in for 2 touchdowns, and we'll go from there. When we look at the wide receivers, it's a whole wide array of guys, right? DK, Jackson Smith-Njigba, Jaden Reed with an absolute clunker last week. 1 target, 0 receptions, 0.0s across the board. Watson getting targets and touches, but that nasty fumble last week. He's had some forgettable drops the past few games. And get this, Romeo Doubs is back, and that's where I'm putting a lot of my money in action on. Let's start with Romeo, 5 to 6 targets, 3 to 4 receptions, around 50 yards, and he'll catch that 1 touchdown pass from Jordan Love. He's cleared concussion protocol. He is back. I would like to think, and we all should think, that they're going to, specify and get Jaden Reed more in on the action. He's their dynamic playmaker across the board, catching passes and running, or just giving him, a swing pass, something like that. Jaden Reed, 5-6 targets, 4 to 5 receptions, around 50 yards, and a carry or 2 for around another 10 yards. But could Jaden Reed have 2 awful games in a row? Sure, anything is possible. And when you look at the Seattle Seahawks secondary, Devon Witherspoon is their hard-hitting, big-time safety, and he's basically gets into the slot, right? And Jaden Reed is going to be in that spot a lot. So we're going to get some Jaden Reed, Devon Witherspoon action. And again, my needle is not tipping one way or another, but given the fact that Reed did next to nothing last week, I would say the advantage to Witherspoon. Not saying this as a Lions guy or a Green Bay Packers hater. I've always respected them. I'm just looking at what's in front of me in terms of money, matchups, numbers, and that's about it. When we look at DK Metcalf, 8-9 targets, 5 to 6 receptions, around 70 yards, and DK hasn't scored a touchdown in 4 weeks. Just 4 he's had 4 receptions, and that's it the last 3 games. So to me, is there have we reached a plateau with DK Metcalf? Anytime I see anyone talk like that, or I'm listening to myself talk like that right now, DK Metcalf is a stud. He's a freak of nature. So you don't want to put a cap on or, put a top on what he can or cannot do. But it looks as though Jackson Smith-Njigba has kind of he's already passed Tyler Lockett. I'm not saying JSN has surpassed DK Metcalf. Both of them wide receivers in unison are a beautiful thing. But when you look at Njigba this week, 6 to 7 receptions, 70 yards, and he's going to see plenty of volume against the Green Bay Packers defense and secondary. And I really do like that matchup. When you you look at what he can do, it's a beautiful thing. As I've said, this is the time of the year when you look at things through rose-colored glasses. Everything's a little bit more fun and warm and beautiful given the holiday season. So I'll leave it at that. I have Tucker Kraft, Noah Fant. Hate to say anything of note because you can rewind this back and I look foolish. And again, these single game slate videos, I give you a final score. I'm doling out touchdowns like it's going out of style. But I honestly think Tucker Kraft and Noah Fant, both 4 or 5 targets. I have Kraft 3 or 4 receptions, around 40 yards. Is his production going to fall off just a tad with Romeo back? It's yet to be seen. And Noah Fant has missed just a bulk of the season with, I think it was a groin injury, something like that. But when he is active, he commands some respect and some targets, 4 to 5 targets, 4 to 5 receptions. I could see an odd case where maybe in the sports betting world, Noah Fant will, however many times he's targeted, that's how many passes he's going to catch. Targeted 4 times, he'll catch 4 of those for around 35 to 40 yards. When the DSTs are in play, I do have the Packers with 3 to 4 sacks in comparison to Seattle's 2 or 3. Both teams with a fumble recovery, both teams with an interception. So the difference is just going to be with points against, right? And I have the Green Bay Packers to win this one with an odd score, 26 to 23. I've seen it somewhere 26 to 22, or get this, 25 to 22. Two of those 3 have to be scoregamis. That would mean a safety, a defensive touchdown. This game is going to be fun and fantastic, and it's wonderful that it's Sunday Night Football. It stands alone, right? Green Bay 4-2 on the road this year. Seattle 3-4 at home this year. Green Bay averaging around 27.3 points a game on the road, in Seattle allowing 21.6 points a game. So there's a difference of around 5 points. Where will that come in play? Will it be an offensive touchdown from Sharbs or JSN, or will it be a pick 6 from the Green Bay Packers DST? We shall see. Everything is there right in front of us. Hang tight. We're going to do the doubleheader of Monday Night Football. Trust me, I'm already licking my chops at that one. But give me the Green Bay Packers. Let's hammer it home. 26 to 23. Green Bay goes to 10-4. They keep pace in the North with Minnesota and the Lions. The NFC playoff picture is kind of taking shape, but we still have more games to play, and there's going to be some fun, shocking, nuts surprises. Be good, be safe. Make sure you do your Christmas shopping, and while you're doing that, drive safely, please. Green Bay Packers win 26 to 23. Bye-bye.